long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, a Mandalorian gets his bounty, takes it back to where it's supposed to go, and then has a change of heart and says, you know what? Screw this noise. I'm going to take the kid for myself and raise him as my own. Welcome, guys, to Fake Nerds Watch Mandalorian Episode 2, but we are going to be talking about Episodes 3, The Sin, and 4, Sanctuary. I am Ben Magnet, alongside my awesome Star Wars bros, Sparks Switty and Ryan James Iliopoulos.
Baby Yoda.
It's so freaking adorable.
Brandon couldn't be with us for the recording of this episode.
Yeah.
He'll be with us next time we touch on The Mandalorian.
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So, whoo boy.
I like Episode 3 a lot. I thought Episode 4 was just fine.
I actually liked both episodes quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's probably because I watched Episode 4 twice.
Mm-hmm.
But when I saw Episode 3, I was very curious, and I also made sure I paid attention, because a lot of people online were talking about the scientist guy who was working for the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
How he was wearing a Camino in a uniform.
I don't know if that's confirmed. That's because I also saw that.
Yeah, and it did, because I saw Episode 3, and then a few days later I saw Episode 2 again, and it didn't look a lot like a cloner costume.
I think it's just like an old...
Are you talking about Episode 1?
No, no.
Because he's not in Episode 2.
I meant about Attack of the Clones.
Oh, you're talking about actual Camino people.
Yeah, actual Camino people. When I apologize. When I say Episode 2,
Attack of
I
the
meant
Clones.
Star Wars Episode 2,
There you
Attack
go.
of the Clones.
I didn't really look into it, but I thought it was that there's a symbol that on what he's wearing that is like a symbol of the Caminoans.
I didn't see
And I don't even know if it's an Attack of the Clones, but more in comics or something.
I'm on Twitter a lot, and I haven't seen anything about that, so I don't think that's true. It was just like a thought, maybe.
But either way, Episode 3, The Sin, the Mandalorian comes back to that town, delivers a bounty to the Imperials, and the Imperials are just like, oh my god, you are the guy, you're the one who's you're like the best.
Did it, bud.
Your reputation precedes you. You really are the best one in all the parsec to give us this. Mandalorian is all like, how many fobs did you give out? He's like, oh, a bunch, but you're the one who brought him in. So they take the scientist dude takes Baby Yoda away. The Mandalorian just looks at it and they're like, what are you going to do with them? And the Empire guy's like, why do you care?
What's the actor's name again? It's blanking my mind right now.
Who plays the Mandalorian?
No, the old guy.
Werner Herzog?
I like Werner Herzog in this a whole lot. He's only in it for a little bit, but just like he's like, what do you care? Like, your job isn't to care; it's to get the thing delivered, and you did the delivery.
Yeah.
And like the Mandalorian is like,
and of course he takes out the Beskar steel, and it's like,
it's a lot.
It's one of those things where you think, well, like Kazal saying, like, is he gonna take the bounty or is he gonna take the kid back? What's gonna happen here? And then he does take the steel, and he goes back to where all the Mandalorians are, and he gives it to the forger, and they're like, oh yeah. And he's like, hey, I need some new armor. My armor is, like, shot to shit. And she's like, yeah, sure. This one dude just waltzes in, looks at the steel, says, this was imprinted by the Imperials.
Oh,
they're the ones who caused us to purge. That's why we have to hide. Why we can only go out one at a time.
You mean Ham?
Yeah.
The heavy artillery Mandalorian? We call him Ham.
Or I guess officially it's heavy infantry Mandalorian.
I don't want to call him him. I want to call him Ham.
No, he's Ham to me.
It's more funny.
He's Ham to me.
Yeah, but he has a problem because it's Imperial, but like, hey man, we still got it. Like, it's still our stuff. We gotta use it.
Right.
And he makes a sweet-ass set of armor.
And of course,
he leveled up.
And of course they start, like with the first two episodes with Nick Nolte's character, where he goes, I have spoken. Now, because apparently the Mandalorian's catchphrase is, this is the way.
Yeah, every 2 episodes we get a new catchphrase.
Yeah. I wonder what the next 2 episodes are going to be.
We'll find out soon. Yeah. It's really funny because we're doing another Fake Nerds Watch with another show that has a lot more depth to it and a lot more subtext.
It's not fair to compare.
It's not fair to compare, but when you watch them back to back, and just like the more the show goes on, I'm like, this show's really cool. There's not a lot there for me.
I was hotter on it at episode 3.
Episode 3 is definitely, I think, because it's like a much more action.
Episode 3.
I think it's that episode 3 is like it's showing
more
so much of like what the Mandalorian is,
Yeah.
who he is.
Yeah.
Because like I think the most definable stuff about his character so far has been in episode 3.
Yeah.
And not just about his character, although episode 4 did reveal a detail that I thought was really important. But we'll get to that. But I think that episode 3 expresses who he is more, shows a turning point in his character, shows what kind of like culture he's coming from more,
it shows
which
is
something in live action we've never seen. In like comics and extended lore, like we've absolutely been open to it, the Clone Wars, Rebels, all that kind of stuff, but it's never been committed to live action. That stuff is what I want to see.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think episode 3 is my favorite episode of the show so far.
I would agree.
I would definitely
so
agree
I'm
with
like 100% all in on that episode.
Yeah.
That was a week ago, so I'm like, I understand why it's not sitting with me as strongly at this moment, but I'm like, yeah, episode 3 is where it's at.
That last action scene is really dope. And
his whole going into the Imperial stronghold and takedown is awesome.
I mean, after he gets the Beskar armor, which I said before, not on the show, but I said to my girlfriend, to my friends, that I want Stormtrooper armor. I think Stormtrooper armor looks cool, and when I saw the Mandalorian in his bright, shiny new armor, I'm like, I've never wanted a set of Mandalorian armor more in my entire life. It looks so cool.
See it at Comic-Con next year.
Oh,
I won't lie. I like it. I like the meaning of it, the Beskar armor and everything, and it is shiny. I liked the color palette of the armor he had before.
Okay.
I agree.
The blue and reds mixed over each other. I liked more.
Because he's kind of just like one solid color now.
Yeah. And I get that there's a meaning and intent behind it, and I'm all for it. But I did like the color palette we started with a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see.
Then he goes back to the guild, and of course his buddy is like, "Hey, man," he calls him Mando.
Which
Everybody has eyes on him.
Yeah. He has a bright, shiny new suit of armor. Of course, they're staring at him.
Yep.
That, and he did the thing that nobody else could.
Every other person had a tracking fob for little baby Yoda. Not a single one of them delivered. And he's like, hey, and he even has some, he's like, hey, look, I'm even rich too. You got me some armor, some steel. This is worth a lot of money.
And
this is great.
You see him put the steel right back in his heart, which is important for later.
Yeah, puts it over like a vital area of his chest.
Yeah.
And the Mandalorian's like, okay, cool, give me a job. And he's like, dude, you can go on vacation, man. You've earned it. You have so much money now. He's like, give me a job. Just give it to me.
Yeah.
And he's about to leave. He's
in his ship.
And then he looks, because right before he landed, little baby Yoda just comes up and tries to play with a little lever.
He takes a ball off.
Yeah, he takes a ball off a switch, and
he's got to put it back.
Yeah.
They find really good ways to show what he's thinking without him being able to see his face, and that's a good example of it, where he's just picking up the ball and it's like, I know. I know where you were at.
Yeah.
This is a really good episode for that kind of stuff.
And he's just like staring at it, and then he finally makes up his mind, gets out of the ship.
I want to, before we go too far in this episode, I do want to jump back to like all the Mandalorian stuff. When they all come in, the Beskar armor is going to attract a lot of eyes, not just like eyes of people who like you did this job, but also of like Mandalorians who are like, oh, this guy's getting the Beskar steel. What's up with that?
Also, apparently only one Mandalorian can come out at a time. That's something they said.
Yes. So they've been in hiding since the Purge. Most people don't know there are many left.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is it almost makes me think that Mando is what most of them kind of go by whenever they do go out.
Yeah.
So he's like the one who gets to go out right now.
Yes.
Which is a huge deal and something we didn't know about.
Yeah.
But all the Mandalorians were killed in a purge, which is a different purge from Order 66 purge.
Yeah.
And
it feels, honestly, it reminds me of, to bring in Dragon Ball Z, like Frieza taking out all the Saiyans because they're a threat.
I mean, it's a
like
very
the
similar...
Empire's like the Mandalorians are the greatest weapons in the universe. We got to take them out.
It's a very similar concept, and there's I do think that there's an interesting relation of because of it's been a while since episode 3 and we just saw episode 4, but I think that Ham calls him a pretender or something like that. And it's and at the moment I thought you think it's implied because of him getting the Imperial stuff. But in episode 4 we revealed the detail that I suspected was true from episode 1, which is that he's not a true-born Mandalorian.
You're right, because actually
he's from a different planet and he was adopted into the culture.
Because we've seen flashbacks.
When the Forager is, when she's making the armor, you see flashbacks of him and his own planet being attacked by battle droids.
Right, because we saw glimpses of it in episode 1, which was the first thing that made me go, I don't think he's a natural-born Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And that is confirmed in episode 4.
Yeah, he
was rescued by them, and he adopted their culture.
And I guess that's why he doesn't want to take the helmet off, because now that he's part of
he wants to be one of them.
He doesn't want to leave.
Which is entirely what I've been suspecting is the whole point, is that this is a character who's trying very hard to be part of this culture, and that's why it will be a big character deal when he does take it off, and why they have to build up the time to it.
It's true. Yeah.
I'm really glad that all got confirmed. But I
Yes.
do think that's why Ham was calling him a pretender. It wasn't just because of the Imperial stuff. We now know he is not.
There is some
Mandalorian.
like inner almost like classism, like, oh, you're not a true Mandalorian.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's understandable
shitty.
because like you're raised in a warrior culture.
Yeah.
He was at least 8
Yeah.
or older when he came into it. So it's understandable that there would be some who are like, but there's so few of them left.
Yeah.
You can't just like be kicking
So
some
the
people out.
Mandalorian merely adopted the dark. I was born in it.
Yeah, but it's an attitude that like I totally tracks.
Yeah.
So
That makes me less mad about him not taking the helmet off more.
Yeah.
I just want to see his face.
Right.
That's
No,
all.
I get it, but like
Yeah.
I think that is what they're going for, and I'm glad that is the intent. And as long as we keep getting the nuggets of like him being an outsider adopting into this, I think we're gonna be okay.
I really like the scientist guy turning out to be like a nice guy.
Me too.
He's like,
Yeah.
he would have been dead if it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, they're not all bad.
I love Mando sneaking into the base, or not the base, the stronghold.
But before we go to that, I still want one last thought about the Mandalorian culture
Yes.
thing. Is we do get brought up again, like leave the rest for the foundlings, which
Yeah.
is still a thing he keeps doing, and it's like yes, they are our future, and they all agree, and that's when they say this is
This
the way.
is the way.
Which makes me wonder, like, if they're in hiding, where are the foundlings?
What are what's a foundling?
I'm assuming they're like younglings
I thought
for
I
them.
thought it was like we saw kids running around in Mando suits.
Right. So like but now
Just
they
to protect them. I
we
think.
know by the end of the episode, like we're jumping ahead, but I know by the end of the episode, like they have to move.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many foundlings they have, how they're picking them. Are they trueborns? Are they finding orphans? Like
Yeah.
the main character.
I would imagine because they're like there was a purge, like they're totally in adoption mode.
Right.
So, like
That's
they're
what
just they're just
That's what I'm really
Also-
interested in is
also,
like where are the foundlings coming from?
Even when the word foundlings, we
Yeah.
found
Exactly.
Like because in episode 4, he's like the Mandalorians found me and they raised me. It's like you were found.
I imagine
So-
it's because like they're generally mercenaries. They just go to worlds and they pick up kids who need help, like the X-Men.
So-
They're like the X-Men.
So there's also like it's not that far back in the timeline. It's just before A New Hope.
Yeah.
If you jump back into the Rebels timeline, like there's an entirely different sect of Mandalorians who are willing to take off their helmets, who are working with the sister of the former queen, and that's an entirely different sect of Mandalorians. So it makes me wonder how much of what's left that we're seeing here isn't true-born Mandalorians.
It's almost like
And
people-
like because I do get the impression that this is another faction that is separate from the faction that we saw at the end of Rebels.
like there are more like fake Mandalorians and real ones at this point, and they're mad about it.
Because whatever purge happened definitely happened before we saw them in Rebels.
Yeah.
So these two sides have already been split.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder.
Unite the clans.
Are they? It makes me wonder. Are they in fact split, or are they like all separated into these different like outposts?
Yeah.
By that group that
Yeah.
we see in Rebels.
I
But then again, like the helmet thing comes up. So
I hope we'll find out because like uniting the clans
That's-
is like a cool thing.
that's where I want it eventually to go. I doubt it will this season, but
Yeah.
eventually that's what I want to see. I want to see that Mandalorian culture explained, like, why is this group so different from the group that we see in Rebels and
Yeah.
Clone Wars?
They all take their masks off and stuff.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
totally different ideas of what's going on.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my
Definitely.
point.
I like it.
Cool action stuff, breaking into
Oh.
the Imperial Fortress.
The rest of the episode, I feel, is a lot. It's very action heavy.
It's John Wick.
Yeah, essentially, it's John Wick Mandalorian version.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. Yeah, true. Yeah.
Like the whole break-in is John Wick 1. 1 and 2, and then by the end of it, you're at the beginning of John Wick 3 with him being hunted by all the guild.
His buddy, like who he gets missions from, like even turns on him.
Yeah.
Everyone in the guild turns on him.
Yeah, but he is very much outnumbered.
Like, he gets Baby Yoda, he's listening into the Imperial guy and the scientist guy, and he's like, and the Imperial's like, just get what you need and we're gonna bounce, we're gonna leave him, let's kill him, we just want one, you just get your stuff and go.
Yeah.
And he comes in, he's like, what'd you do? And the scientist is like, he would be dead if it wasn't for me. He smokes a few stormtroopers, gets the kid, and just this whole action scene, because I remember the person who directed this, Deborah Chow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because she's a showrunner for Obi-Wan, right?
Yes, that's true. God bless it.
Oh,
Yeah.
bless.
Yeah, we know the show will at least look nice and have good action.
Yes.
For sure.
And even the fighting stuff was good, the action stuff was good.
And it has
And-
the best character stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it has a
frankly.
lot of great character stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that this is like her, like, hey, let me do Obi-Wan because I did this. It's like, yeah, Obi-Wan's in good hands.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Well, no, they were probably in the middle of production, and they saw that episode 3 is their best episode, and they're like, shit, we need to get her on something else. Like, do you want to do another whole show? And she's like, yeah, baby.
Yeah.
I'm here for Obi-Wan.
It's an incredible episode.
Yeah.
Honestly, like this one nugget is exceptional.
Like, even when, because eventually the Mandalorian does get cornered or surrounded by all the guild members.
With all the fobs.
That flip he does into the cart.
Oh,
so
yeah.
good when he puts down Baby Yoda and just flips over and starts shooting at them. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is what I'm
He's
here
just
for.
disintegrating fools, and they're slowly catching up to him, or slowly closing in on him.
Yeah,
and then when the rest of the Mandalorians just pop out and just like,
Dude,
like
a dozen of them just jetpack out of nowhere.
like the Ham, he shows up, he's like,
Yeah.
and he looks and says, "This is the way." Like, this is the way.
and we're all like, yeah!
Yeah, he's saying, well, because he shouts to them, like, you're going to have to move the place, and it's like, this is the way.
Yeah.
This is the way. All right, cool. I'm glad I got my people supporting me. That's really cool.
And again, like, they were, like, arguing a little bit earlier, but it's still, they're still a family.
Especially the one who particularly called him a pretender, then turning around on it and being like, no, this is the way. Like, get out of here.
And we don't see in episode 4, but this clearly will have ramifications because they just expose themselves.
Correct.
So
that's what
Not
he's saying.
everyone died.
They have
Because
to leave.
Yeah, because the main guy, the one who was giving
Carl
all the
Weathers.
thank you, Carl Weathers, the guy who was giving all the pucks.
Yes.
He does get shot.
Yes.
Right there.
When
Bam.
he gets shot, it is Beskar steel, so he lives.
I 100% believe that he intended to shoot him in the steel and not kill him.
You think so?
Here's why. If he meant to kill him, why wouldn't he kill him in a way where he's at least on the ship so he can get the Beskar steel he wants?
Okay.
He knows he has it. Why wouldn't he take it off his body if he meant to kill him?
Because he's running for his life and like he doesn't.
He's
care
on
about
his
it.
ship. I would grant you that, but he's on his ship. He could easily have killed him in a way because they're away from everyone else.
Yeah.
Where he could kill him and take the steel.
That's true.
He shoots him off the ship by shooting him in the steel.
Okay. All right. I'll give you 50%.
And he's got good enough aim that I believe he did it on purpose because he knew where it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the big thing for me is I'm like, if he meant to kill him, he'd also take the steel.
Like if Carl Weathers shows up later and says, "Haha, you didn't kill me back then," and Mandalorian's like, "You're right, I didn't because I don't want to kill you."
Right.
Then it's like, okay, yeah, he knows he's doing it, but he's like, "Wait, didn't I shoot you?" It's like, "Oh, buddy."
Yeah, I guess if he goes back,
I believe that I don't believe that he wanted to kill any of them.
Yeah.
But I believe of all of them, he doesn't want to kill him the most.
Yeah.
We've already seen that he has a sense of compassion. Otherwise, little Yoda would have already been killed.
Sure,
Yeah.
and to be fair, like he is like going against the rules, so he's
Right.
breaking. Like they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I guess you could be right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't. It doesn't. Again, like it's the specifically being on the ship and him not killing him and taking the steel that I'm like he could have.
Yeah. He
So I think he shot him right there on purpose.
All right.
Okay.
I'll believe it. And then Baby Yoda and him get on the ship, and then he starts playing with the little ball.
Gotta get
Yeah.
me one of those jetpacks.
Oh my
That's a
god!
good
When
moment.
the jetpack flies by, like
Yeah.
salutes him, flies away. He's like, "Gotta get one of those."
Looks very Rocket Man.
Yeah,
it
It
does.
Yeah, I liked it. It was cool.
Wait, Rocket Man?
Rocketeer?
Rocketeer.
Yeah, I was
Thank
like Elton John.
you. No, I meant Rocketeer.
Next thing you know,
It's gonna be a long.
Everybody knew where I was. Yeah.
Elton John hit with a grand piano.
This
plays
is the
it.
way. That's how the episode ends, right? With Kitty
Sorry,
Cat
she
time.
just jumped up behind us.
Kitty Cat time.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
unless,
the end of episode 3.
The end of episode ends with him going into space, with him
gives
giving
him the
Baby
little
Yoda
ball.
the little ball.
Baby Yoda continues to be the best thing about the show.
The most adorable thing ever. Episode 4, I still enjoy, but
It feels like a side quest to me.
it kind of does.
In any other show where it had more episodes, I don't think it would bother me as much.
Because there's only 8 episodes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's like we have so little time. Like this feels.
The only
I've seen this kind of episode before.
Of course.
On
In a
plenty of other
22
shows.
episode show.
Right, on plenty of other shows, you've seen this kind of episode where
Yeah.
it's like they're helping out with like a village and that kind of thing, and
They train the village.
it exposes a sense of humanity about the main character, which is necessary with the Mandalorian.
Yes.
I'll grant that.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I'm like, there's not enough forward momentum of the story that's happening here
Yeah.
for me.
Um,
It definitely feels like an episode almost entirely there to express the idea of like the Mandalorian could have that life, but he won't.
I
Yeah.
also think like all the promotional art has like it has what's IG-11?
Yes.
It has IG-11, Gina Carano's character, and the Mandalorian like all on the same screen. And I wonder if this was just set up for her character.
We've definitely seen her in another location.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to give it the credit of saying, like, it's just the setup for her character, because, like, you could put that anywhere else, too.
No, of course.
They're very specifically going for the idea of him having this life with that,
they did, like,
with the widow
2-in-1.
and everything, and I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, I've seen it. I've never seen it in Star Wars, but I've seen it.
Yes, yeah.
But
like they help out like a small village against a bunch of raiders. Like it's very Seven Samurai.
Yeah,
like it's exactly
it's
Seven
very,
Samurai.
Seven Samurai.
It's very. I kept getting Hercules' Legendary Journeys vibes.
100%. Yeah.
That's the thing I felt. It's like when Hercules and Aeolus like go into a village and it's like this Cyclops monster thing, and it's like, oh, but they got to do it themselves. Let's help them, Herc. It's very much that episode, and in that moment, like, Hercules is like, you could love a mortal woman. He's like, yeah, but last time I did that, my wife got killed. So, like, by the gods, Hera! So it's like, it feels like that episode.
Disappointed!
For The Mandalorian. And I'm like, if this season had a lot more episodes, maybe I wouldn't feel like it's kind of wasting my time a little bit.
Like
half the time. Half the time.
Like, he becomes friends with like this mother and her little girl, and the little girl loves little Yoda. We see a boom.
Everybody loves little Yoda.
Oh yeah,
everyone loves little Yoda. Yeah.
Who doesn't love little Yoda?
And they're like, oh, why don't you train us? And they're like, we're not going to train you. And then they train him.
Well, first after he landed, so we see the scene with the raiders they're stealing blue shrimp because apparently krill. They love krill apparently.
So does Yoda.
Apparently, yeah. Well, he likes frogs.
That's true. That's true.
He loves his frogs.
Yeah. And
so they land because Mandalorian's like, yo, we're just gonna lay low here for a few months and everything will blow over. We're gonna go somewhere else. We're just gonna hide here.
Find a nice remote area.
Yeah. And while he's trying to get some food for the little one, he sees this other lady who obviously she like knows who he is or knows what he is.
Yeah.
And
they have a history.
Well, no, they don't.
They don't?
No,
I thought they had. It looks like they know each other. The way
they don't know each other. She just knows that he was a part of the guild.
Oh, okay.
Because Mandalorians apparently they have a reputation for being bounty hunters.
Okay.
So she thought he had a fob on her.
Doesn't he know that she's an ex-shock trooper though?
Well, he knows. Okay. So she explains to him that she used to be a rebel.
Yes.
She fought with the rebellion, helped clean up after Endor. Then she was in charge of protecting the delegates. And she was bored. Essentially, she got bored.
Yeah.
She is a soldier whose best work is done on the battlefield.
She's Solid Snake.
Yeah, she's meant to be a fighter. And when she was just essentially demoted to watching the politicians and guarding them, making sure no one messes with them, she's like, screw this.
Yeah.
So she's not a deserter. She's just, I don't want to protect politicians and not actually fight something. I'm just going to leave. I'm going to do my own thing. And then she figures after she left, like some higher up in the New Republic's like, yo, let's go get a bounty on this person because she left and we needed her. She quit her job and we didn't like that.
So she is a deserter, technically.
Technically, yes. Okay. But not that type of deserter.
Okay.
I do like their first like little fight.
Oh yeah,
that's
she kicks his ass.
Yeah,
yeah.
And then of course Baby Yoda. Oh, hello. And Baby Yoda is just like sipping his soup and like sip.
Guys, stop fighting.
Mandalorian talks a lot in this episode too.
Thank God.
I think she's doing an awesome job. Does it bother you at all, like how technologically unadvanced the villagers are?
Not really.
No,
because like they have droids. They have droids.
That's part of why it gets to me is because they have droids, but they don't have a lot else.
Well, I mean, Luke doesn't have that much stuff.
I agree with you, but they are much further along still. Like, the moisture farmers and everything are much further along. Like, they have refrigerators, they have electricity, they have all these kinds of things. Like, they're very, very pulled back.
Yeah.
More than anything, I'm like, if we're going to take the time to do this kind of thing, I'd like to understand why, in a world where they could fly away in a spaceship, they choose this life.
I don't think they have spaceships there.
Well, but I mean, like, they could walk into where the Mandalorian's at the bar, they could, like, hop on a ship, they could leave, like... Why choose this, like... I guess I just wish there was more exploration of, like... In a world like Star Wars, why live the
why do they all still have
simplistic villager stick poking life?
Is it because, like, they're just so far away from all big civilizations, it's just, like...
Well, the Mandalorian does say this is a backwater planet.
Yeah.
Because there's no big spaceports.
Right.
There's no big population density. There's these little villages here and there. I mean, obviously, I would say that this area, like, this planet... was completely uninhabited by humans or humanoids, other aliens, and there was like nothing there. So they're like, hey, let's just have like little pockets here and there. And then there's like, this planet's so so far out in the outer rim that no one really cares about. We're just gonna chill and relax.
If anything, this, not that the show's cheap, this felt like the cheap episode.
Kind of did.
No, I agree.
So, like, I think maybe it's just, like, we want them to be poor villagers, so, like, yeah.
My point kind of being, like, I think this is the poorest civilization we've ever seen.
Oh, 100%.
In Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just kind of want to know...
Even
people on some level have a
even
choice.
sand people who are scavengers have guns.
Right.
They don't have... Do they the Mandalorian brings them guns.
Yeah,
Right.
Mandalorian
So,
gives them guns.
I think it's just like, we want them to... They need the Mandalorian.
And
so they make an
obviously-
excuse why they
And
need the
obviously,
Mandalorian.
people do come to this village to like hide or do something.
Yeah.
Because that one
There's-
lady knows how to shoot. She
There-
knows her way around a
Right,
blaster.
exactly. So there's a line where one of them says, like, my grandfather seeded these...
yeah, we've been
like,
here for generations. My
Exactly.
grandfather first seeded these pods.
Exactly. I just wish there was more of that expression. We spend so much time in the village, and I don't feel like I get the character of the village overall. I get the character of the widow, but I don't get the character of the village. And I'm like, if we're gonna do this, if we're gonna go spend time somewhere like this, then make me understand them in the world of Star Wars. Make me understand them the way I at least on some level understand the Gungans.
Yeah.
Like,
no, 100%.
Yeah.
I agree with that. There is a decent action scene. Like they have to deal with an ATST, like a stolen one.
I think the ATST looks cool.
Yeah, and like it has like bright
red
evil
eyes.
red eyes.
The bright
So,
red lights
I
inside.
think the coolest shot is there are two really cool shots with the ATST, and that's when it rises up, when it gets turned on, and when it's coming out of the woods for the first time.
Yeah.
Like when we see it in the dark, because I'm like, that's some cool imagery, because you see these bright red eyes coming out of the forest. I'm like, ooh, you're in for a boss battle now, buddy.
Yeah. They set a trap by like they dig a ditch in their pond. So when the ATST walks into it, it'll collapse into it.
Right.
But it stops right before, and it shines its light on all the villagers, and then all the raiders just come in and attack. I'm like, oh, your plan did not work, but
No.
it works out in the end. Of
Like
course.
eventually they drag the ATST to move forward, and it falls. The day is saved, but one of my favorite parts, and the part that got me sweating the most bullets, comes after the battle. I mean, everyone's relaxing. They think, "Oh, hey, we won the battle. The Raiders are gone. We don't have to worry about this." And the Mandalorian is talking to that one girl whose name I completely forgot, and she's
Did they
like,
say her name?
"They do, but I forget. I think they say
They must say it only once because I feel like I would have heard.
yeah,
it.
they say it once.
Okay.
Yeah. So they say it once, and she's like, "Yo, you can just settle down here with her because she obviously has a thing for you.
She likes masks. She likes helmets.
you. Her daughter likes your boy. You can stay here. It could be happy." He's talking to her. She's like trying to take the helmet off, and then we see the scope.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, first we see a fob and another bounty hunter, so we're kind of like, "Uh-oh, what's this for?"
Yep.
I thought it was actually for the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
It wasn't for Baby Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
But it turns out, because we see the guy with the scope zeroed in on the Mandalorian. And then it moves over to Baby Yoda.
And we're all like, if they kill Baby Yoda.
Oh, man.
I'm done with this show.
When I was watching with my girlfriend, she was like, no.
Everyone here was like the same way. Yeah.
Everyone here was like, no, don't you dare. Don't you freaking dare.
Before the merchandise is out.
Yeah. And then we hear the we hear the blaster shot.
Her name is Cara Dune.
Thank you.
Cara Dune. Cool.
Have I heard that name somewhere before besides the episode?
Maybe.
Don't.
No, I'm not going to overthink about it. And so we hear the blaster shot.
Oh, she's an original character for this, if that's what you mean. She's no.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Oh, God, what was I going to say? Yeah, we hear the blaster shot, birds fly away, and luckily, Kara's there to shoot down the bounty hunter, and they realize, like, oh, because the Mandalorian was going to leave the kid there, and he was going to fly away.
Yep.
And now it's like, well, they're tracking him. They're coming for him. Damn it!
I guess I gotta be a babysitter still.
Uh-huh.
Yep. I'm curious about what the trajectory of this show is, because I'm sure they want to do a season 2. So I'm curious, like...
Season 2 is already filming.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're right, yeah. I'm just wondering, like, what's the destination here? Kind of, like, he's just, like, he saved the baby, right? So, like, what do we do now?
I don't want to see a bunch of these kind of episodes.
I don't either, because we only have 4 more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part of me wants to say that the Empire is onto him.
Yeah.
Because the second I saw Baby... Like, okay, I felt like I didn't tell this to you guys, but my thought process... When I first saw Baby Yoda in the first episode and him shooting that IG unit, my thought process was, he's going to save Baby Yoda, he's going to take him back, he's going to rescue him again, and the Empire is going to be hot on his tail.
Yes.
The whole season is going to be him and Baby Yoda running from the running from the Empire, or
Yeah.
what's left
I
of the
also
Empire.
thought that was going to be.
I think the point of the episode is for him to realize that no matter where you take him right now, there's no guarantee he'll be safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe the next
So he
episode...
has to stick with you. And hopefully that's just what it is. It's not us trying to go to different planets where he can hopefully hide him.
Yeah.
I think he just accepts that, all right, I'm just bodyguarding this kid now.
This is my baby now.
While I go around. And I think that was the point of this episode. I just don't think it was executed very perfectly.
For a split second, I thought they were going to do something really ballsy and be like, the Mandalorian is going to stay here, and we're going to jump a couple years, and Yoda's going to age maybe a little bit. And then I quickly realized, oh, it's going to be just a throwaway kind of episode. Not throwaway, but you know what I mean.
I wish Gina's Cara Dune character had come to really attach herself to the child as well, and then be motivated to want to go with them to be extra protection while he figures this out.
I really like that character. I would
wish
love
that's
to see more.
Right,
Yeah.
and when you I don't think it's a problem that the Mandalorian doesn't take off his mask yet, because I think that they're going for something, and I'm interested in that, and I want that to follow
It's
through.
probably gonna be like an end of season
that
thing.
would be helped by having another main character tag along who we can see, who we can play off of. And I wish that had been Gina's character from here.
Because we have a puppet and a faceless guy. And they're great, but, they're not human faces.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm pretty confident she shows up again real soon.
I hope so.
There's only 4 more episodes, and we've seen footage of her somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, it's gotta happen.
Yep.
But I just wish it had been more direct and, I like this kid too. Let me help you out, because this is
Like,
gonna
you
be a
need
lot.
my help
This is
against
gonna
the-
be a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, I think that's probably what's going to end up happening.
Yeah, I just wish it had gone there, because
Yeah.
I'm I wouldn't have felt like this episode was such a filler.
Yes. It would be cool if, he was, almost assembling a team.
Right.
And, she was part of the team, and then IG would join the team. Actually, that might be what's happening. It's just happening in a weird pace.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I still I like watching the show. The aesthetics, it's still Star Wars. I don't dislike it. I'm just I kind of just want more meat. I want some more meat.
You want some more meat like there was in episode 3. You don't want side dishes like episode 4.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, Bryce Dallas Howard, because I thought she directed episode 3, but apparently I got my numbering wrong. I still like episode 4. Episode 4 is pretty good.
It's not really the direction I have a problem with.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Cara Dune, the character. Cara Dune.
James Dean.
I don't know why the hell.
It's okay.
I like Cara Dune a lot, and I hope we see more of her, as well as the IG unit, or at least a IG unit voiced by Taika Waititi again. But yeah, I mean, this episode was still fine. It was still really good, just not as good as episode 3, because episode 3
I don't think it was really good.
I don't think it was really good.
I think it was
Good?
just good.
Yeah, that was
at
fine.
best.
Yeah.
It didn't do enough. It was as cookie cutter as The Mandalorian has been up to this point.
When you have
of the type of episode that this is, that we've seen a dozen times if you watch television.
Yeah.
It could have expanded more on the backwater worlds of Star Wars and given me more depth of what those worlds are like. It could have expanded more on who the Mandalorian is. It could have expanded more on Gina's character of Cara Dune.
We
could have done any of those things to push us a little bit more in a fleshed out direction, and it did it on the most simplistic level.
Very basic.
That I'm I understand what the point of this was, but I don't feel like we explored it.
There could have been a 1 line or a 1 minute scene of just them talking about how the Empire we're like this because of the Empire and how it crumbled, or something we lost support, some reason why they're so backwater, right?
Right.
1 little line would solve that. I think with a show that's only 8 episodes, and this is prestige television. It's not an ABC CW show. It's prestige.
No, this is if it was on HBO.
Exactly. With such small amount of real estate, this episode should not be here, or it should at least be structured in a way where it seems more vital to the plot of the story.
Right. Yeah.
Because I felt just hey, we're taking a detour. Hope you like it, and I kind of like it, but I came for steak and you gave me mashed potatoes.
It kind of feels like the type of episode you get in the more network 22 episode type of television, not the type of episode you get.
This is episode 9. It's this is a filler one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it
I
still
agree.
looks good.
It does.
Yeah, I hope this is the only episode like this, and I hope I don't feel this way going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, even again, if by the end it had resulted in Cara Dune going with him, that would have at least made it feel okay, all this is building to something. But it didn't even do that, and I'm almost left in a place where I'm do I lose anything going from episode 3 to episode 5.
No.
Well, we don't know yet for sure,
No.
but like at this moment, no.
Yeah.
Like
I'm trying to think of the impact of like what actually happened here. Like the bounty hunter was killed, right? Like they was trying to kill Yoda. This backwater town, like nobody cares about it, nobody knows about it. So like if he just would have passed it,
it's simple. Its simple points are introducing Cara Dune.
Yep.
Showing that the Mandalorian had a choice of a different kind of life, and he wasn't going to do it, and showing that the child isn't safe, and isn't going to be safe no matter where he goes right now, so he's got to stick with it.
Yep.
Those were the points it had to hit, and that's it.
That could have been in any other episode with like not a sci-fi.
With much more stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
And so yeah, let's hope for episode 5. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want much more of what we saw in episode 3.
So
Yeah,
I want much more of the Mandalorian culture stuff. I really hope that's where the show's heading.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I think that stuff is fascinating as hell.
Yeah.
That's from the moment, because way back when we knew the Mandalorian was coming and we had no idea about Baby Yoda.
No.
That's what I was looking for. I was looking for exploration of their culture, what their place in the galaxy is at this point, across the board, and every time we get pieces of that, I'm way in.
Yeah.
Episode 4 was a little...
It was a little lacking in the meat department.
But the ATST looked great.
It did.
For sure.
They got money.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'll do it.
They'll cover it.
Yeah. It's 2 more episodes down the drain.
Yeah.
Yep.
Halfway done.
We'll let Brandon kind of share if he agreed with us on some of these points when we get to our next one in 2 weeks to talk about episodes 5 and 6 of The Mandalorian, halfway through the show. All right, that'll do it. We are all members of the Fake Nerd Podcast with our friend Brandon T. McClure. You can listen to that anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can check out some of the episodes here on YouTube. We are slowly catching up and building our YouTube.
Yep.
We have Fake Nerds Watch for Dark Crystal and Watchmen. HBO's Watchmen in circulation right now. Dark Crystal we're pretty behind on, but
yeah, but Dark Crystal is coming. That's the good news.
Yep, we're intending to catch up real soon. Watchmen will be out this week, just like this Mandalorian episode, because we cannot help ourselves.
No.
It's too good, guys. So we'll be talking about Watchmen. And you can check out, we did an exceptional episode with Star Wars Retrospective with Downright Nerdy Podcast.
Yes.
They were just here after the Thanksgiving break with us, and we did this awesome discussion with them. It was really cool.
It was long and awesome.
A lot of video editing, so it's going to take a little while for me to get that up. But it will be up soon.
It's
and
the good news is it's recorded.
And we'll be doing a big Star Wars giveaway on there.
Big boy.
Check that out once it drops. Keep an eye out. We also have Basement Arcade that these two are doing for Sonic Mania, and that's dropping in the near future. And you can check out all our regular podcast episodes whenever you want. Otherwise, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Fake Nerd Podcast. I am Sparks Witty. You can find me at Sparks Witty on Instagram and Twitter. Ben?
You can find me on the internet at BenMaggot27, mostly on Instagram and Twitter.
Sounds good.
I'm DJ Tony Snark at everything. Just type it in, you'll find me.
Awesome. That'll do it. We'll be discussing more of this real soon. Hope you guys are enjoying The Mandalorian, and stay fake nerds.
This is the way.